upon the time was a certain married woman in the city of Éfeso, whose fidelity to her husband was so famous that the women from all the neighboring towns and villages used to troop into Ephesus merely to stare at this prodigy. It happened, however, that her husband one day died. Finding the normal custom of following the cortege with hair unbound and beating her breast in public quite inadequate to express her grief, the lady insisted on following the corpse into the tomb, and there set herself to guard the body, weeping and wailing night and day. Although in her extremes of grief she was clearly courting death from starvation, her parents were utterly unable to persuade her to leave. In short, all Ephesus had gone into mourning for this extraordinary war. All the more since the lady was now passing her fifth consecutive day without once tasting food. Besides the failing woman sat her devoted maid, sharing her mistress' grief and relighting the lamp whenever it flickered out. The whole city could speak, in fact, of nothing else. Here at last on classes alike agreed was the one true example of conjugal fidelity and love. In the meantime, however, the governor of the province gave orders that several thieves should be crucified in a spot close by the vault where the lady was mourning her dead husband's corpse. So, on the following night, the soldier who had been assigned to keep watch on the crosses so that nobody could remove the thieves' bodies for burial, suddenly noticed a light blazing among the tombs and heard the sounds of groaning. And prompted to know who or what was making those sounds, he descended into the vault. But he stopped, short, in terror, thinking he must be seeing some ghostly apparition out of hell. Then, observing the corpse and seeing the tears on the lady's face and the scratches of fingernails had gashed in her cheeks, he realized what it was. Promptly felt in his little supper went down to the tomb. He implored the lady not to persist in her sorrow. Oh, the men alike have the same end, the same His consolations being unwelcome only exasperated the widow more. More violently than ever she beat her breast, and tearing out her hair by roots, scattered it over the dead man's body. Undismayed, the soldier repeated his arguments and pressed her to take some food, until the little maid, quite overcome by the smell of the wine, succumbed and stretched out her hand to her tempter. Then, restored by the food and wine, she began herself to assail her mistress. Obstinate refusal. Fasting, her resistance crumbled at last. Well, you know what temptations are normally aroused in a man of a full stomach. So the soldier, mustering all those blandishments by means of which he had persuaded the lady to live, now laid determined siege to her virtue. And, chaste though she was, the lady found him singularly attractive, and his arguments persuasive. To make the matter short, the lady's body soon gave up the struggle. She yielded. They slept together, the first, the second, and the third night, too. One night, however, the parents of one of the crucified thieves, noticing that the watch was being badly kept, took advantage of our hero's absence to remove their son's body and bury it. The next morning, of course, the soldier was horror-struck to discover one of the bodies missing from its grasp, and ran to tell his mistress of the horrible punishment which awaited him for neglecting his duty. In the circumstances, he told her he would not wait to be tried and sentenced, but would punish himself then and there with his own sword. All he asked of her was that she made room for another corpse, and allow the same gloomy tomb to enclose husband and lover together. Our lady's heart, however, was no less tender than pure. She cried, to hang the dead than kill the living. With his word she gave orders that her husband's body should be taken from it.